Hello friends and welcome back to another video. In the previous video, someone asked me to upload a video on scroll bar in Tkinter. But for that you have to have some basic concepts. In this video, I am going to show you how to create a list box in our Tkinter window. And in the next video, I will tell you that how you can add a scroll bar in your list box. So stay tuned. So let's get started with list boxes, and for that let's create an empty window, and for that we have to write from Tkinter import star root equals tk, and after leaving some lines root dot main loop. Now it is very simple to create a list box, so I will write lb as a variable name, lb equals list box, and I will write nothing in the parentheses, and here I will write lb.pack, and in the empty parentheses padx equals 20. Let's run the code. Here you guys can see a box has appeared, but it is just an empty box. Now you may have noticed that I have written the padx property here, but if I write the padx property in the list box empty parentheses, you can see it will give us an error. So it is not the same as it was in other widgets, so we have to write this line below. Now let's add the name of the window to just clear the concepts. Let's add a title to our window, which is root.title, and in the empty parentheses in double quotation marks list box. Now you have seen that our list box was empty. So now to add an item in our list box, I will write here lb.insert, position will be end, and in the double quotation marks the name of the item, which will be first item in my case. Now the first item is successfully inserted in our list box, so let's add the second item by following the same pattern. Now second item is also inserted successfully. Let's run the code now. Now here you guys can see that the title of the window is listbox, and a listbox has two items in it. We can add as many items as we want, and we can change the position of these items. For example, if I write here 1 and rerun the code, you will see here nothing happens. Why is that so? Because the second item will be at the end. So for that I have to add here 0. Let's run the code again, and you guys can see here second item is at the first place and the first item is at the second place. So let's remove this for now, and I will show you a different way to add the items in our list box. So here you have to write for item in range, any range do you want, that can be 100, 2000, 10, 5, etc. So for item in range 100, lb dot insert in the empty parentheses and in the double quotation marks first item. Let's run the code now. Now you guys can see there are many items, but each item have a same name. So I can change this, and I have to write here string and in the empty parentheses item. Let's run the code now. And here you guys can see that there are many items and each item has a different number. I can scroll this using my arrow keys, but it does not have a scroll bar, and we will add this in the next video. Now you guys can see that the items have been added in our list box. So now what? Now I will create a button that will delete the selected item from our list box. So for that I will make a variable and I will name it del b. So del b equals button, and in the empty parentheses pad x equals, let's say, 20, and pad y equals 30. Let's set the text to delete, and command will be delete. Now here we have to create a function, and for that I will write here def delete empty parenthesis colon, and here lb dot delete, and in the empty parenthesis I will write anchor. So the selected item will be deleted. Now let's run the code. I have done a silly mistake here. Have you guys noticed? I haven't packed my button in my window, which is a pretty silly mistake. So learn from my mistakes. Let's pack it in our window and rerun the code. Now you will notice that after selecting an item from list box, whenever I press delete button, the item gets deleted from the window. So let's resize the button. Now I will increase the font size of the button. Let's run the code now. Now here you will notice that the font size of the button is large, but that of the items in the list box is very small. So let's head back to PyCharm and increase the font size of the items in the list box. So here I will add the font size statement we used to write for every widget. I will set, let's say, 20, run the code, and you can see the font size has increased and the button is working perfectly. So now the delete button is added perfectly and is working perfectly. Let's add another button, which will be info button. Whenever we will press that button, we will get the information of the item which we have selected. So for that I will make another function and I will copy and paste exact same statement for the del B button, and I will only change the name of the button and I will change it to info, and here I will write details. Let's change the command name and let's change the function name. Now here what I will do is I will make a label which will have the text same as the text of the item in the list box. So label in the empty parentheses text equals lb.get anchor. Font. I have done the same mistake I have done earlier so that you will remember it every time. I haven't packed the label again. Remember it, guys, you have to always pack the widget in your window. Now you guys can see our function is created and is working perfectly, but a new label is created whenever I press the button. So for that I will write here, I will change the name my label and my label.config. Let's copy that and paste it here. So my label equals to label and as it is. Let's change this text to nothing. Now you have understand that I have configured the text of the label into the text of the item. Now this is very common and annoying mistake that we usually do in our code and we cannot figure out what is causing all this problem. So for that you can see here in line number 15 I have packed my label in a same line. You can see here in the same line I have packed my label. You do not have to do that. After creating a label, you have to pack it on a separate line by writing my label.pack. You can see here and follow my steps. Now let's run the code, and here you guys can see whenever I select an item and press detail button, the name of the item appears. But when I delete it, the name remains in my window. So I have to remove that. And for that, I have to make some changes in my delete function. So what will I do is I will simply copy the detail function and I will paste the line as it is. Let's change the text to nothing. Now run the code and you guys can see here whenever I find the information of an item and then I will delete it, the information will delete with it. Do share your ideas and your projects that you have created in Tkinter in the comment section, and if you have any questions you can ask them in the comment section. So that's it for today guys. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you again in the next video.